Hello and welcome. For the first time in school history, the Ferris State University men's basketball squad will take part in the NCAA Division II National Semifinals as Ferris State takes on West Texas A&M Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at the Sanford Pentagon. The Bulldogs on the practice floor behind us after a big quarterfinal win yesterday over the Barry Buccaneers, and looking forward to their first ever matchup here in the national semifinal.
Yeah, it's going to be a great happening there. We had a great victory over Barry University. Ended up being a really tough, hard-fought game that came right down to the end. Bulldogs made some big plays down the stretch and found a way to get it done to advance to the national semifinals. And the one thing you know when you get to this level, no matter what round you get to, you're going to face a tough opponent. Bulldogs had a tough opponent in the quarterfinals, and they're going to have another tough opponent in the semifinals.
The Bulldogs yesterday led by senior guard Drew Cushingberry with 20 points, senior guard Peter Furlick with 18 points. That veteran experience leading the way for the Ferris State Bulldogs.
Well, you know, that's been one of the things that the Bulldogs have done all year is rely on that veteran experience, particularly in the backcourt where in pressure situations you know that you're going to get the ball in the hands of a guy that can really handle it and handle it well against pressure, make good decisions, and make big shots. And we saw that in particular from Drew Cushingberry, who really got the Bulldogs going early, and then Peter Furlick got the Bulldogs going, kept the Bulldogs going, and then down the stretch, the two guards really did a great job of finishing off the game, keeping things under control, and that leadership was really important in the backcourt, and then Zach Hankins, the big guy in the middle, finished up strong in the game as well. And so Bulldogs really had a great team effort led by those seniors.
The Bulldogs yesterday against Barry really faced a team that spread the floor, had 5 guys on the court that could shoot the ball from the outside. A little more traditional look here for West Texas A&M coming into tomorrow night's semifinal.
Well, it's definitely going to be a change in terms of the type of opponent that you're going to face. As you mentioned, Barry is a team that spreads the floor. All 5 guys at a time can shoot the ball from the three-point line, and so really tested the Bulldogs' ability to be able to guard all those guys, a lot of pick and pop situations, pick and roll type situations, and the Bulldogs had to really adjust defensively to be able to guard those types of situations. And they did make that adjustment over the course of the game, and they were able to get some needed stops down the stretch. You come back to West Texas A&M, you're playing a team that's a little bit more of a traditional type of team that we're used to seeing in the Midwest region in the GLIAC. And so I think the Bulldogs know that they're going to be in for a tough matchup. It's going to be a little bit different style, maybe a little bit more half court, a little bit more physical, which is what the Bulldogs are used to playing.
One thing we've seen from all of the teams here in the Elite Eight thus far, some high-scoring teams. Yesterday, Barry averaging 88 points a game, West Texas A&M at 88 points a game. So certainly some capable teams of scoring the basketball.
Yeah, and that's what you would expect when you get to this stage of the season. A lot of these teams, as you mentioned, putting up big points, getting to the free throw line. A lot of good three-point shooters in a lot of the teams that we're seeing here in the Elite Eight as well. We know the Bulldogs shoot the three very well. Barry was a tremendous three-point shooting team, and I think when West Texas A&M, we're going to see a team that is capable of hitting the three-point shot as well. The good thing about West Texas A&M from their perspective is that they also have a big guy in the middle, and so the Bulldogs are going to have to contend with him as well. But you're right, some prolific scoring teams that are capable of putting the ball in the basket. And so if the Bulldogs are fortunate to advance to the championship game, they can expect to see in the next 2 rounds teams that can really put some points on the scoreboard.
The Bulldogs receiving a lot of attention out there on social media, a lot of love from the Bulldog fans, and certainly great to see all that support here for this basketball team having a historic season.
Absolutely. I mean, we talked about that a little bit in between games, between the quarterfinals game and what we're going to see in the semifinals tomorrow. And a lot of fans really embracing these Bulldogs, fans that can't make it to South Dakota, wherever Bulldog fans are, they have been able to stay connected with the game by watching the stream. They've been able to stay connected through social media to keep the conversation going. And so it's really been great to see so many Bulldog fans really following and really getting into this team. And we had a chance to talk with President Eisler on the radio at halftime, and he talked about the great support from the alumni, from the community, from anybody that loves Ferris State. And so great seeing that kind of support, and hopefully we'll keep it going and ratchet it up even a few more notches here coming into the national semifinals.
Bulldogs will have 2 fan buses arriving for the national semifinals, the pep band, cheerleaders on hand, and certainly will be nice to have that support here as the Bulldogs look to move on to the championship game.
You know, we're going to need it too, because, you know, this place, this building can get really loud, the Pentagon, and we heard that a little bit yesterday in the games that we were able to see, and particularly in the last game with Northern State being relatively close to this event. And so I think the Bulldogs will love to have some of their fans in here to maybe double or who knows triple the amount of fans that we had in the national quarterfinals. So I'm looking forward to the fans getting here on the fan bus and appreciate them coming. A lot of people are driving, some people are flying in, and it's going to be a great atmosphere, I think, for Ferris. Having our pep band is so important, and then having our cheer team as well. It's going to really improve the atmosphere tremendously.
The Bulldogs, the number 1 seed at 36-1, leading the country in total wins this year, will take on the Buffs from West Texas A&M, who are 32-3 on the season, and the number 4 seed. What will it take for Ferris State to advance?
Well, again, you're facing a very balanced team, and I think the Bulldogs really are going to need to control the paint defensively. West Texas A&M has a big guy in the middle, and we saw him have a pretty solid game in the quarterfinals in their win to kick off the Elite Eight. And so I think the Bulldogs are going to be keeping an eye on him to make sure that they don't let him get too many points. He's going to get his, but you really want to try to keep him contained as well. So I think it's going to be a great matchup with Zach Hankins, and Zach Hankins really embraces those kinds of challenges going against big men of that caliber, and so that's going to be a big key. And I think another key, Rob, is going to be for the Bulldogs to really get guys like Noah King going. I think Noah King is looking for a breakout game, and I think he could have it here in the national semifinals. So really looking forward to seeing Noah King really break out and have a big game. He is so important to this team. When he is shooting the basketball the way he can, it just opens up everything around the floor, and so I think he's due for a big game.
Ferris State Bulldogs and West Texas A&M will meet in the national semifinals on Thursday night right here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota at the Division II Elite Eight. We'll have all the live action for you on Sunny 97.3 and online at ferrisstatebulldogs.com. A special 1-hour pregame show starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night. Game will also be televised live on the CBS Sports Network, and a live watch party at Buffalo Wild Wings in Big Rapids along with social media coverage. Should be an outstanding night as the Bulldogs look to move on to the Division II National Championship game for the first time in school history.
It's going to be a lot of excitement, whether they're here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or they're back in Big Rapids or wherever they are. There's going to be a lot of support and so many different ways for people to follow the game. And so looking forward to people following the game in as many ways as possible and being active in social media, giving us an opportunity maybe to shout them out in social media. So going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to this national semifinal game.
Follow all the action at ferrisstatebulldogs.com. This has been the Ferris State Basketball National Semifinal Preview right here on the Bulldog Sports Network.